So I think this floor has pretty much covered the topic about innovation in China. So I want to discuss, share something about the why, how to innovate in China. Because I attend 3 times Maker Fair in USA, and the key things I find for innovation is about, first is interests. So you first have the interest to create things and interest in something that you like to do. And second is you should have the passion to do it. Because interesting always goes, you have lots of interest, but you need the passion to pursue that interest. And third thing is you need to insist on that passion. And that will take you time. And I think Mitch is the perfect example for the passion. So, I think in China, the problem, the education system is kind of weird. I mean, in the last 20 years or 30 years. I'm not blaming the China education system here, but everyone knows that there's a problem there. They just, Eric says, they teach students how to, from A to B, but never teach them how to think in different ways. But I think the Make movement is kind of a key thing to make some change. Make is about share things and to play with things, and that will raise some interest with the children, and that will lead to the children to find something really interesting, which will bury an innovation in his heart at a very early stage, and that innovation will lead to some genuine innovation in the near future. So I think that the key for innovation in China, instead of made in China, is to change the education system here, and also the Maker movement will lead to a new way to make that happen. Because China government is always from top to bottom system, and now we have a chance to change it from bottom to top. So. I think that's why we organize this Maker Carnival, and we hope to share this passions and share this spirits with all Chinese people, to say, hey, we share things, and here's interesting things, and don't think about commercialized things, and that's something behind it. So first things is interesting, play things, and forget about rest, and may the innovation will come from your heart. So that's my thing. Thank you.
In 2010, the Shanghai government announced to support the funding for 100 hackerspaces as so-called innovation houses in Shanghai. And many of you might have heard about this. I'm curious to hear from all of you, what does it mean if the government supports a movement, like the Maker movement, that is usually thought of, as many of you articulated, as bottom-up, grassroots?
Probably no one knows why Xinjiang comes from, because that's a story from David. He is kicked out by his wife and founded the Xinjiang. the reason for that is, once you got children and you are strictly forbidden to touch any small pieces or whole things on your desktop, because children are very easy to hurt themselves by these things. So your wife is definitely gonna kick you out from the room with all these stuffs. And as a geeker or maker, you need a place to make things, to do things. So that's why Hackspace come from, and definitely that's why Xinjiang comes from. And Shanghai has an older history for industry, and I think it's our parents is all retired from experienced technicians, engineers. There's 4 factories in Shanghai back to 80s. And so Hackspace, in 100 Hackspace in Shanghai is definitely a good place for those experienced technicians and engineers to form together and spend their time to do something or to do some social work. So. And I think that would be definitely a good idea, because they have all the experience and the knowledge to build things, and the only need things is something to innovate them, to enlighten them. And I think Make movement is definitely a good way to have them organized. So my opinion about the 100 hackerspace is the less the government involved in the activities, the more successful the hackerspace will be.
Thank you. Building on these thoughts, so the Chinese government is not alone in supporting the Maker movement. We've seen this with governments elsewhere, particularly also the US, but also prominent figures in the media and cultures industry, like Chris Anderson, for example, have argued that makers and the Maker movement is the next generation of innovators, and you guys have spoken to that as well. And part of that idea is that the Maker movement is also spearheading a new industrial revolution, and this is particularly how Chris Anderson in his book frames the impact of maker practice and the global maker culture. So if we take this provocation seriously, that making and maker practice is a revolutionary activity, what exactly do you think is revolutionary about it? Do you believe that there is a revolution underway? And where are we in this stage of revolutionary change right now?
I'm still not clear about the definition about the third industry revolution, because from the history, I think a revolution is usually driven by a new invention of tools and technologies. So I can't figure out any tools or inventions was invented by makers, or which is big enough to drive the third industry revolutions. So from that point of view, I'm not quite agree with that maker movement is going to drive the third industrial revolutions. But there's another aspect that if the maker movement is going to inspire the creativities, maybe bloom the innovations, and from that kind of movement, I think a third innovation revolution could come because of the maker movement, because people started sharing stuff, and because people gain knowledges from the sharings of others. So the education is completely different because of the maker movement, because people start learning from internet instead of the class. So I think starting from the playing and start from interest is a great way to do innovation, and I think from that point of view, I would agree that maker movement probably drive the innovation revolutions.